Villainous by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 38. Chapter 22. Strange. Ochako gritted her teeth and raised her hand to knock at Toga's door. It had been 3 days since they last spoke, only exchanging glances while eating or passing each other in the halls. Even though their argument had left a sour taste in the hero's mouth, she couldn't stay angry forever. In fact, the anger had begun to fade to sadness, mere minutes after they fought. She missed Toga, to be blunt. And honestly, she was ready to admit that. Ochako had come to terms with her feelings the past few days. Not fully, but enough to understand. It started when she began thinking back to that morning, the way Toga had called the green-haired hero's name, and how she called him cute. Without much thought, Ochako had mentally fabricated a scenario where Toga talked to her like that, and physically recoiled at the realization of what she had been thinking. Her face was red and her mind was reeling as she tried to process why she had imagined something like that. It was just strange to her, foreign and new, maybe even a little scary. She had tried to distance herself from these feelings, the ones that had plagued her mind, and dared to crush her close to the blonde, only to fail in the long run. It might have worked for a little, only small thoughts ever slipped through the cracks and made it to her conscious mind. Now, however, she had no distraction or problems to solve beside this one. And what a problem it was. Ochako couldn't deny the fact that she'd been perfectly okay, excited even. Had Toga had gone through with the kiss in the mall, it would have inevitably evidence that had made her think that maybe this wasn't quite friendship. Though maybe the confusion stemmed from not Toga or feelings of romantic verity, but from past experiences. Toga had told herself that she had a crush on Deku. Sue, Mina, and practically everyone else the boy himself had confirmed this feeling. What she felt towards him matched with something more akin to admiration rather than adoration or love, she supposed. Despite this, she convinced herself that she loved him and wanted him to be her boyfriend. Now knowing what she did now, this wasn't true. He was a good friend, loyal and kind, brave and strong. There wasn't anything wrong with him. He just wasn't the one she liked. Maybe that experience had skewed her ability to tell love from friendship. After all, when she thought about loving someone romantically, she often compared it to what she felt towards Deku. If that had been a friendship, then of course it wasn't what she felt towards Toga. On the other hand, this meant that what she felt for Toga was unexperienced territory. It wasn't charted or tracked, not observed nor tested. It was dangerous and scary, but so very thrilling. Like an adventure she couldn't bring herself to turn back on, despite the many warnings posted on either side of the pedestrian road and cascading waterfalls. She was compelled to push past the challenges, even though they were difficult, and more often than not, she'd get turned around in this dense forest of feelings. She wanted to try. It was a strange sensation, figuring that out. Like a tranquil chill that wouldn't leave her be, as if someone had opened a window and the new September breeze was settling in a room. It was a feeling that made her giddy, a feeling that made her bite back a smile every time she thought of Toga. But it also made her nervous. Oh, so very nervous as she passed the blonde in the hallway or sat across her from the table. It felt as though some new quirk had made Ochako hyper-aware of everything she did, and how clumsy she could be. Toga could tell someone was lingering outside her door. It was a sense that came naturally to her, and after a few moments, she correctly identified the visitor as Ochako. Why was the hero here to see her? She had a few guesses. To fight was one. To try to apologize was another. To claim that she'd realized her mistake was yet another option. Though none of them as likely as the final option of Ochako realizing how she felt. Toga awaited the hero's declaration like a prisoner on trial. If she'd known she'd be found guilty before the verdict was made, it'll ease her nerves. even if that meant she awaited her own death. The suspense stressed her out, and if she knew how the hero truly felt about her, she wouldn't have been so bent out of shape. It wasn't the end of the world if Ochako didn't like her in a romantic sense, but it was damn close. Imagine if you spend the rest of your crime-filled days around the person who knows you like them. They have to spend most of their walking moments with you, and they pose the information that you'd like to kiss him. Awkward, isn't it? She knew that the hero was nothing but bad business when she showed up. But that sweet little smile, those adorable reactions she gave whenever Toga flirted with her, made it hard to quit. Before she knew it, she was addicted. She was in too deep to find an exit, sinking too quickly to dig herself out. So she let herself fall, and fall she did. It was meant to be good, fun, all in the name of game, but it wasn't anymore. It was real now. Real feelings, and real people. Toga wasn't even sure this was real love. Her parents had enforced a very strict education onto her, consisting of traditional values, such as love only being between a man and a woman. They lied, right? She could never tell with them. It confused her, and hurt her. And despite the cool, confident, and a little crazy act that she kept up, she panicked whenever someone asked for her any questions related to love. She developed her own sense of love over the years. She called it love, yet it was only a poor imitation, brought on by dicing people up or stabbing them with syringes that hung from her mask. This was a strange feeling she had towards Ochako, one that made her want to protect the hero and hold her tightly and never let go. She supposed that maybe this happy feeling was love, but even if it wasn't, she still liked it. Liked the way it made her feel, almost as if she was floating on air. It was nice, and peaceful, and wonderful. If only the hero felt the same, then they'd be alright. Toga hadn't meant to shove her, but Ochako really eked her when she talked down from her high horse like she could do no wrong. Toga reacted poorly. She knew this. But she wouldn't take it back. She was impulsive by nature and wouldn't attempt to change herself for a hero who couldn't get her own life in order. Maybe that was harsh. Ochako really seemed to try sometimes, but a hero raised to be, or hero, could never truly be a villain. She wasn't a traitor to the League by any means, but sometimes her actions felt like complete betrayals to the blonde. And the kiss! How was she supposed to react to that? If only she had never proposed that idea to begin with. But knowing that Ochako would have been fine with kissing her, even if she couldn't quite figure out her feelings, gave Toga that little shimmer sparkle of hope that made a smile scratch across her face when she thought about it. She rolled onto her back, getting ready to get out of bed whenever the hero decided to finally knock on the door. Now, could have I done a longer video today? Yeah, actually, I really could have. I have like 11 more minutes before I have to go to sleep, right? I could have added, 5 more minutes to this, 3 more minutes to this, I could have added some minutes to this, right? Am I going to? No, because I think it's evil to end it right here. Yep, I saw the opportunity and I took it. I'm like, oh, I'm ending it right there. Right before we go into the part where Ochako opens the door. Or not opens the door, but knocks on the door. Yep, right here is where I'm stopping. And I'm evil for that. Also, I have been informed, right? I saw the comment the other day, but I have been informed that Kingston, your arrow ace, no wonder this shit is good, right? The way you're depicting love, I'll say this. I'm in the arrow ace spectrum. I'm not fully arrow ace, clearly, because I have a significant other, right? I'm asexual, and then I'm demi-romantic, right? So it takes me, demi-romantic. You should know what that is. But as someone who is arrow ace as well, hi, hello, twinsies, kind of, a little bit. We have our little differences. No identical twin is completely identical. Do not let them fool you. They're not identical. Like, for example, their fingerprints, 2 different fingerprints, right? Whatever. Point taken is, you're doing a great job at describing love. There was this one moment that really stuck with me, which is how you described that Uraraka, it wasn't in this chapter, it was a couple chapters ago, how Uraraka felt with Deku was different than how she felt with Ochako. You kind of touched upon this in this chapter a little bit, but you didn't go into depth, like how with Deku, it felt like, you know, butterflies in the stomach. Like with Izuku, it felt like butterflies in the stomach, nervous. And with Uraraka, it was kind of calm. She kind of just wanted to be there with her, right? That's love. That's the difference between, okay, so there is attraction, right? This is like you see a person in the mall and you're like, oh my god, they look super cool. Like, you know, hee hee ha ha, they look super cool, you know, twisting hair, kicking feet. Then there is crush, right? For some people, this crush might be, you know, you don't really know the person, or like it's, you know, the startings of the feeling where it's like, hee hee, I kind of like this or this or this. It's a little superficial. It's pretty much superficial. And then there's like, right? For me, attraction and crush, those are easy to get, right? I don't need a deep connection. With crush, I just need a shallow connection, right? A little shallow connection and we're in. For like, I need a deep connection. I can't just like someone because, like, you know, they look cool. Like, I could have a hallway crush, right? I cannot have a hallway like. I know some people have a hallway crush that is acting like a like, right? Hallway crushes, for the most part, like, oh, would you date that person if they ask you out? Hell the fuck no. No. I think they're cool, and I kind of want to get to know them and stuff, and, like, you know, see if, like, you know, they're compatible and stuff, but, like, would I date them? Nah, no. Like is different. I would date this person, right? I like this person, and I stay in the like phase till I move on to the puppy love phase. Puppy love phase, the like and puppy love phase is where you feel those butterflies, the little hee hee ha ha, especially in the, you know, falling in love stage, aka puppy love stage. This is what people think love is, and then when they actually go into love, they get a bit scared. Then they're like, oh, I fell out of love. No, honey, sweetie, darling, that's love, right? That's love, right? I like to think of love as a calm explosion, right? The falling in love, or, you know, puppy love phase, as I like to call it, is all those, you know, you know, smiling, like serotonin, just a bunch of serotonin is being, and dopamine is just being pumped into your brain, especially when you're around that person and stuff like that. But once, like, a couple months in, or a year, it varies person per person, situation per situation, right? It settles down. And once it settles down, you're content with the person. Like right now, with my significant other, with my partner, I'm in the love phase, right? I'm fully in love. Like I was in the falling in love, and like the not falling in love, but in like the puppy love stage, right? Because there's in between stages for me, like falling in love and then exiting the puppy love stage and stuff like that. There's little mini stages, because obviously it's not all black and white. It's, you know, a filter, whatever. Point again is, now sometimes we just sit in calls. We're not talking to each other. They're doing their own stuff and I'm doing my own stuff. Whether it is they're doing research for whatever thing and I'm just sitting here kind of relaxing before I have to record, or sometimes I start recording. For the most part, I mute just so like they don't have to listen to that and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't mute, depends. But and then I just record. And I know that we've been in calls for like 24 hours once, but like for example, right now, some people who aren't in love might not tolerate the fact that we're both very busy people, and it's been a good couple days since we were in a call and since we've actually sat down and talked for a while. But I'm understanding. You know, they're having a busy life. I'm having a busy life. And you know what? I'm willing to hold out this, you know, weird period of like, okay, we can't really talk to each other that much because our schedules are clashing. But like, I want to work through it with you. And I want to be able to work through it with you. God, I'm getting emotional. Fuck. Okay, point taken is, you're doing great, Kingston, at portraying love. You're doing amazing at portraying love. Alright? I always say this, right? When I find out that a ship fanfic, is written by an Arrow Ace person, I buckle the fuck down because I'm about to read something fucking mind-blowing. I'm not joking. And I don't think this is gonna be the first time that I read an Arrow Ace thing, and I don't absolutely love the shit out of it. And Kingston, it's not gonna be the first. It ain't gonna be the first time. Not right now, not ever. Well, actually, it might happen, you know, later down the road, but not with this one. And that's for sure, because I already fucking love it so much. It is super cool, it is super nice. You accidentally, you know, threw in some, you know, cool psychology things. Accidental, but, you know, happy accidents. But, no, yeah. Anyways, as always, my raindrops. Make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.